Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace, mercy, and blessings of God be upon you. This is a new presentation from www.central-mosque.com and from the Humble Heart YouTube channel. The topic today is Sha'ban 1442 or March 2021 moon sighting. This will also be the start of moon wars or moon fighting for the next few months. Certain brothers and sisters in our communities, particularly Muslims in the West, will raise their heads above the parapet, defend Saudi Arabia, cause division amongst the Muslim community, and then put their head back down and go to sleep for the rest of the year. What am I talking about? When it comes to Islam, when it comes to Quran and the Sunnah, when it comes to fiqh, then all 12 months of the Islamic calendar follow the same system. The moon is sighted. Those who sight the moon testify to the ulama or the scholars, or if the moon is not sighted on 29th, the same thing. They testify to say the moon was not sighted. The ulama, the scholars, scrutinize this sighting and then they make a decision which is public. This happens every single month, month in, month out, for all months of the Islamic calendar. Saudi Arabia does not follow the system for all 12 months. So those who wish to impose the Saudi moon sighting system on the West are not being honest. I don't know whether deliberately or unknowingly. So what happens in this month of Sha'ban, what you will notice is the Saudi court system will make a public appeal for people to sight the moon. Someone somewhere will sight the moon and the court will then make a decision to say that due to moon sighting, the moon has been sighted or the moon has not been sighted. The month of Sha'ban will start on this particular day. This is generally the format of the announcement. The Saudi Supreme Court, Mahakamatul Uliya, or something like that, has made the decision. So those brothers who propose the Muslims in the West to follow Saudi moon sighting system will carry that announcement for this month to say Saudi court has announced this, or Saudi Supreme Court has announced this, or Mahakamatul Uliya has announced that. Number one question to ask these brothers is, what were you doing in Rajab? What were you doing in Rabiul Awwal? What were you doing in Rabiul Thani? What were you doing in Jumad al-Ula? Because your announcements did not carry that. Why? Then there will be complete silence, crickets, nothing. Because they're not going to be able to explain how come this current month of Rajab did not follow the same thing. Okay. The reason being is Saudi moon sighting system is their own business. It's not our concern what they do in Saudi Arabia. However, the system is based on two things. It's based on following 9 months based on Ummul Qura predetermined calendar announcements and then 3 months of moon sighting. The Saudi authorities don't hide this fact. They are clear on this. The only people who don't communicate this to the Muslims in the West are the mosque authorities, the people who impose the Saudi moon sighting system. They're not telling the Muslims in the West that for 9 months you're not doing moon sighting, you're following a predetermined calendar. The Saudis, they say that these are just normal months. For example, Rajab, Jumad al-Ula, Jumad al-Thani. So they're saying there's no requirement to follow moon sighting. And they're saying there are no acts of worship like fasting in Ramadan or Hajj associated with this month. The problem with this format is if you don't follow the moon sighting in these months, which the Saudis say, which are non-worship months, then how can you sight the moon for the worship months? So for example, this month that I'm talking to you in Rajab, Saudi Arabia followed a predetermined calendar. On the 29th of Rajab, they will try to go out and sight the moon, they claim, for Sha'ban. But then your year is messed up anyway, because for the rest of the months, you're not following moon sighting. So your 29th is messed up. It's a very simple concept for Muslims in the West to understand that for 9 months, they follow a predetermined calendar. Then for 3 months, supposedly, they switch to a moon sighting system. The problem with this scenario, first of all, as I've told you, that if your other months are messed up, then you don't know when is the 29th to be able to actually sight the moon. Then, in the months that they actually sight the moon, there are 9 to 10 official moon sighting committees in Saudi Arabia, and they never ever sight the moon. It's generally done by other people within seconds, within minutes, and sometimes even before sunset because they're using CCD cameras and so on and so forth. So, this entire system is sort of different to what Islam says. Islam talks about general moon sighting by a lot of people for all 12 months. So on one hand, you have organizations in in non-Muslim countries where Muslims live, for example, in South Africa, for example, in America, for example, in England, for example, in Canada, where they are following genuinely transparent public moon sighting systems for all 12 months. And then you have certain people who are imposing this half baked Saudi system upon them and then giving examples of Sha'ban. Look, the court made the announcement to cite. Look, the court made the decision for Sha'ban. Yes, it does for Sha'ban and Ramadan, but not for all the months. So what does the Islamic Sharia say in this situation? The Islamic Sharia says, the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, abandon what puts you in doubt. Okay. The second thing these people who are imposing the Saudi moon sighting system do not tell the Muslims in the West is the Saudi scholars have never ever told people in New York, in London, in Toronto, or in Cape Town to follow Saudi moon sighting system. They said follow your local moon sighting system. So these are the people, unfortunately, with some sort of loyalty or some sort of financial benefit from the Saudi government, who are imposing this system on Western Muslims and confusing this entire picture. So it's very simple. Go out on the 29th, sight the moon. If the moon is present, sighted, and confirmed by the scholars, then the next month starts. It's very simple. If it's not, then 30 days are completed. When it comes to this month of Sha'ban, the new moon will be born on the 13th of March 2021 at 10:23 London time. This moon cannot be seen anywhere on the globe, by any means possible. On the next day, 14th of March, this moon will be easily seen in most parts of the world. So in countries where the 29th of Rajab is on the 13th of March, this moon cannot be seen, so 30 days will be completed. In countries where the 29th of Rajab is on the 14th of March, this moon can be seen. So potentially the start of Sha'ban 1442 will be 15th of March in most parts of the world. So let me summarize this for you again. The Saudi moon sighting system is split. For 9 months of the year, they follow the predetermined Al Qura calendar. That affects your moon sighting system entirely, because you're supposed to go on the 29th and try to sight the moon. If your month is messed up, then how do you know when is the 29th and when is the 30th and when is the 28th? Because you're following a predetermined calendar. For the 3 months that they claim to sight the moon, then the official moon sighting committees do not sight the moon. It's sometimes sighted even before sunset, and it's got a lot of question marks on it. Instead, what you're supposed to do is what the Deen of Islam tells you, is to follow the system, which is clear cut, public, and transparent. So based on that system, it is likely that the 15th of March will be the start of Sha'ban. Now, it is possible that the Saudi Al Qura calendar or the Saudi system coincides with that, and you do start Sha'ban on the 15th of March by Saudi system and also by the local moon sighting system in your country. That still does not take away the fact that the Saudi system is half baked and not very well thought of. Instead, what you should do is follow the Quran and the Sunnah, follow the Deen, and follow a consistent system for all 12 months. So it is unfortunate that certain prominent members of a community, certain scholars, certain committees will rise up in this month of Sha'ban and Ramadan and start to defend the Saudi moon sighting system and not tell people that it is actually split like that. May Allah Ta'ala give us the ability to see the truth and to follow the truth. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.